Welcome to another episode of Movers and Shakers. I'm your host, Giselle. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is where the magic happens, baby. This is where you get a chance to meet the influencers, the game changers, the movers and shakers who are reshaping the world around us. From business to entrepreneurship to the arts to community activism and so much more, our guests are doing extraordinary work, which I guarantee will inspire, challenge, and ignite your passion. I am beyond excited about our guest today. Now, he's been here before, so here's a quick clip so you understand the level of my excitement.
You know, we have a unique, however unfortunate history.
Right.
You go all the way back.
Yes.
And so we're accustomed to, as a consumer,
Right.
spending our dollars almost unconsciously.
Yes.
So there was a movie back in 1999 called The Matrix.
Yes.
And many of us, we were familiar with that. We were familiar
Right.
with the movie.
I think it's Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne.
Right. And so the analogy that I use when I think about the black consumer in America is when they showed all of these infant babies plugged up.
Right.
And they said, this is our source of energy.
I remember that, yeah.
So this is our source of energy. And the best part about it is they don't even know it.
Right.
Because they're in the matrix.
Right.
And so to some extent, some would say no, not to some extent, to a great extent. You know, if you're spending over $1 trillion annually, and I think 97% is outside of the black community,
Right.
Nobody else is doing that.
Right.
So my call to action is that we've got to get out of the matrix. You know.
Our guest today, in my opinion, without a doubt, is a king. Yes, that's what I said, a king. And let me tell you, when you are in the presence of a king, it is your responsibility to honor the kingdom he has built and the legacy he's continuing to create. From January 2017 to January 2023, he served as the executive director for the Atlanta Black Chambers, steering the organization to incredible heights with an expansion in their membership and programming. Under his leadership, the Chamber became a beacon for Black entrepreneurs across the region. He is now the president and CEO of the Atlanta Black Chambers. He is also the recipient of countless awards celebrating his commitment to the Atlanta entrepreneurial community. He is a true trailblazer, thought leader, the ultimate mover and shaker. Today, we get to sit down with the one and only Mr. Melvin Coleman. Welcome back.
Yes.
I know, right?
It's great to be back.
Thank you so much. We are always excited to have you on Movers and Shakers. You always have a place here. I do hope you know that, right?
It does feel like home.
Yeah, we've always, our very first episode was stellar, right? It's always a pleasure sitting with you. I feel like anytime I sit with you, I feel empowered and motivated, and I know that our audience feels the same way as well. So thank you for being back.
Thank you again for the opportunity, and I'm so grateful for that initial opportunity.
Right.
3 years ago.
Yes.
It's been a minute.
I feel like it's been yesterday, but it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It has. Well, welcome back. We have quite a bit to talk about, right? Because it's been a minute. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to share this story with you, and I know that my team is going to flag me for time, so I'm going to be quick. But I wanted to share this story with you. We have a mutual connection. Mm-hmm. And you know I'm a proud Atlanta transplant. And
yes.
Our mutual friend, I remember, said to me, I need you to meet somebody. I want you to meet someone doing great work in the business and entrepreneurial space. And I was like, sure, I would love to meet him. And I was like, so are you going to set it up? And he's like, yes, I want you to come to this event with me. It's Saturday. And I was like, sure. And I was like, what time? He's like, 8:30. I was like, ooh, I started to like, I was like, ooh, well, maybe we could meet another time. You know, he was like, no. Well, he's a New Yorker. And you know, us New Yorkers are like real direct. And he's like, no, you're going to this event, right? And so we came to this event. It was hosted by you, Melvin, right?
Okay.
And I just remember hearing you speak.
Okay.
And I have to say to you, I don't think I've shared this story with you. The energy in that room shifted, right? It was just this group of entrepreneurs and business owners, like just hanging on every word that you were saying. You were dynamic in that moment. And I remember leaning into our mutual friend and I said to him, well done, right? Good job. Thank you for bringing me to this event.
Right.
And he introduced us. And so I wanted to start with that story because I don't think I've shared that with you. But the other piece is, from that moment that I've met you to now, you have just been scaling, excelling. And it has been, I'm a fan. And so it has been a joy and an honor to see you excel in the spaces that you're dominating in. So I wanted to start with that story today because I don't think that I've shared that with you before.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I'm not sure what event was 8:30 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yes.
I'll have to go back and look.
We're going to have to go back and look. But it was like early, like you said to me.
Oh,
and I'm not sure if it started at 9, but we needed to be there at 8:30 for like whatever, if it was a breakfast or whatever.
Yes.
But I remember him saying like 8:30, but I was just like, I'm just backing out of it.
That is a good one.
Right. So the last time you sat in this chair, things were a little bit different, right? You were wearing a different hat. It was a different role. And so, president and CEO of the Atlanta Black Chambers, I want to talk about what's that like now for you, Melvin, right? You're in a different role now. And so, emotionally, can I ask you where you're at?
Emotionally, wow, that's a great way to phrase it. Excited, I guess that's an emotion.
Okay, yes.
Excited is an emotion. And then responsible.
Right.
So I have a tremendous responsibility.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about all the opportunity that I see out in front of the organization.
Right.
And for me, seize opportunity because it's there.
Yes.
So it's a very exciting time
Right.
to be the president of the Atlanta Black Chambers.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I imagine that there is a master list of priorities now that you are the president and CEO. Can you share with us what's the main focus for you right now, right? Because I'm sure that there's tons of things to do, like you just talked about seizing opportunity. Is there a main focus for you right now in this role?
From an organizational perspective, it is to position the ABC, Atlanta Black Chambers, as the organization that is leading in all of the critical areas.
Right.
So we want to be active leaders and have others, the whole community, follow the example of the chamber.
Right.
So my mentality is we've got to take action because that is leadership.
Yes, absolutely.
When you are making decisions and following through, and setting an example for others to then follow, what you're doing. So active leadership is where one of the focuses for me is to make sure that that's who we are, and people know it, they see it, they can feel it.
Right.
The ABC is always on the move.
As an entrepreneur, was this on your vision board? Was this something that you thought of long term, being in a position like this?
So maybe I can tell you a brief story.
Right.
So after a few years of being involved with the organization, I had to step away. I had some responsibilities, things, life happened, and all of that.
Usually does, right?
Yes. And while I was away for what turned out to be several years, I would often think back to the chamber, the organization, the people, and what it represented and how how much we need that.
Right.
And I would say, man, if I get the opportunity to go back and not necessarily to become president or the leader,
but
just
to be
to be
involved.
back involved.
Yeah.
Because I knew how important the organization is, but then the potential once you have, these good people all working together in a spirit of cooperation. So it was somehow divine that I did make my way back. And it was a good time to seize opportunity within the organization because there was some transition happening.
Right. So some timing, good timing as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So your question was this on my vision board?
Right. Because as business owners, we sometimes have a plan, right?
Yes.
And sometimes things don't always go according to plan. And so I'm just thinking of our audience, and I just know, like, sometimes it's good to find out, like, was this a part of your master plan, right? Or did this happen along the way?
I mean, being a part of the process that elevated this organization to levels not seen before, absolutely.
Yes.
Can't say that I knew
Right.
I would be president and CEO,
Right. Yeah.
but that's what actually has transpired.
Yeah, and congratulations to you, right? So the Atlanta Black Chambers it's not really specific to Atlanta, right? I think it's initially started that way, but you guys have members in various states, right? And I know that there's been dedicated work to expand globally. So I want to talk a little bit about your Global Opportunities Committee and can you share about the work happening in that space, right? The connections, the collaborations that are taking place across regions.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about what we call the GOC, Global Opportunities Committee.
Nice.
And if you get those, if you get those committee members together, they make GOC sounds like it's the force of the universe. I mean, it's like, okay, chill out.
Right.
They are something else.
Yeah.
But you used a term earlier. You said, you've seen me scaling.
Yes.
And that's an example.
Okay.
Our Global Opportunities Initiative is an example of the ABC scaling.
Right.
There's a data point, and that data point is over 90% of the growth in black businesses is going to take place outside of the United States.
Okay.
Because the diaspora is so vast.
Yeah.
And so it only makes sense for the Atlanta Black Chambers to have a force, a focus beyond the borders of the United States. So Africa, South America.
I was just about to ask, some examples, right?
Europe, the Caribbean. And so we've got members all over the world. And I say that when I'm speaking in front of groups about the ABC, that we're based here, but our membership is not just all over the country, which it is.
Yes.
It is indeed all over the world.
Right. Yeah.
It's all over the continent, Africa, South America, UK, Canada. And shout out again to the Global Opportunities Committee. And I think I mentioned this to you years ago in that initial interview.
Right.
All of the success of our organization can be attributed to talented, committed individuals who believe in something and want to work to see it happen.
Yes, because that was going to be my follow-up question, right? I think for anything to scale, right, there has to be a foundation of good people, good talent, committed to the initials.
In my experience, that is first and foremost.
Right.
The people make the difference. So the GOC is led by a great brother, Ricardo Barris, who is an international person himself.
Yes.
Okay, not say native to the United States. He's a Caribbean brother, Afro Latino, so world traveler, and so to have the right leader at the right time, focusing on the right opportunity that say he or she is passionate about.
Right.
So it's not unlike, and you would be familiar with the Women's League.
Yes.
Which they will tell you they are the biggest, the baddest, and the best.
Absolutely.
Black women entrepreneur organization in the Atlanta metropolitan area.
Yes.
And so they have a fabulous leader, Miss Michelle Glover.
Yes, and Michelle was a guest on our show.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So here you have two examples of ultra talented individuals who
spearheading those,
who are committed to something that they're passionate about.
Yes.
Michelle's passionate about women and entrepreneurs and wanting to support and see great things happen. Ricardo's passionate about global opportunities and international business, and so I only take credit for saying I allowed them to get down and make it happen.
You created the space for it to happen,
and smart enough not to interfere and get all in the way. You know what I mean?
Because I think I'm happy that you said that, because as leaders, I think we need to know when to delegate, right? When to step back, when to lean in, and I think this is an opportunity for you to let Ricardo shine and do his thing. Because I think sometimes as leaders we interfere and we don't allow others to pursue and to expand what we're working on. So I think it's a testament to your leadership as well.
Yes, you just said it. The word allow. I was telling some of the leadership team, we were having some discussions, and I literally said to them, you have to allow great things to happen.
Yes.
Now you can mess it up and get all in the way and all of this other, but if you understand, if you see the big picture, you allow great things to happen.
Right.
And sometimes it's not easy or super comfortable, but you just have to trust.
Yes.
And so some of that is why the ABC has seen some real prosperity here over these past several years.
Okay. Can you share, when you think, because sometimes when I think of, I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking of, we just talked about leadership, allowing, and you think of expanding, right? You're going to different regions. I'm thinking there's going to be, tons of people wanting to support, but is there any challenges in those spaces?
Oh, there's always challenges.
Right?
Always. Access to resources, the same old. Funding.
Right.
The right relationships.
Yes.
Yeah, it all comes back to the same thing. But it's not easy.
Navigating in those spaces.
Right. Yeah. So, but we're fortunate to have seen enough success to be encouraged.
Okay.
To say we're ready to keep doing what we do.
Right. Yeah. I think the goal is just to stay the course, right, in spite of those challenges.
Right.
So I have to say congratulations to you again, because here we talk about scaling. So you recently appeared on CNN to discuss the landscape of small businesses. And so in that interview, it was a really good interview. So thank you for the representation. Thank you for that conversation. But in that interview, you touched on critical issues, right, that may potentially affect small businesses. And so I have to ask you, from your perspective, are there any type of policy changes, or what policy changes or initiatives that need to be made so that we can create a better supportive environment for small businesses?
It's interesting, we know what works because we have some historical examples. Say, for example, the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
And how it evolved and transformed into this place that people all over the world call it the Black Mecca. And even back, during the whole Black Panther movie era, if you will, it was like the closest thing I know to Wakanda is probably Atlanta.
Right, I've heard the term as well. Yeah,
like how is that, or what's that about?
Right.
Much of that has to do with the late great Maynard Jackson in the 70s and 80s, yes. Atlanta's first yes. Black mayor,
yes.
And he put policies in place that would ensure that a fair amount of opportunities were available and extended to the underserved communities. And today that means more than just Black.
Yes.
Now, 70s and 80s, that was predominantly in Atlanta, you're talking about the Black community.
Yes.
But because of those policies, the city of Atlanta still rates the highest in terms of small businesses in some of the minority communities having opportunities. Right. And so 40 plus years ago, that created 100 Black millionaires because of the policies. If you had those policies in place today, it would be the federal government, state government, local, whatever.
Right.
We know what works, and it makes a difference. So until we can establish that, we will still have these issues with the low, as far as the disparities.
Right.
Less than 2% of state contracts are awarded to Black-owned businesses. Less than 2% of federal government contracts are awarded to Black-owned businesses. So there's so much work to do. We're here to do it.
Right.
That's our
So
commitment.
your advice is to continue working, continue pushing, right? Because I think sometimes we are aware of the historical, factors, but sometimes people lose hope, right? And they give up. And so what is the motivation? We have to keep at it, right? We have to keep pushing to implement more policy, right? To get more accommodations for small businesses. What do you think that we need to continue doing?
Well, we have to stay together.
Okay, so community.
Community, absolutely, supporting each other, and then sharing the successes. Okay, and then whether it's mentoring from, say, the more seasoned, and reaching back and helping those that are coming behind you not have to run into the same brick walls just because they didn't know something. That if there's a relationship, that connectivity, it would make the path somewhat easier for them. So, and to do that, we have to be all, say, engaged, really tapped in.
Yes.
And that's where the chamber makes it easier for that to happen, because we're the central place where all these things can take place.
You've already created and building that community.
Yes. And that's what you find when you're, in the room and you're able to meet this person, or that exposure is very, very important. Yes.
So I think, when you're in business, and for those looking, there's highs and lows of entrepreneurship, right? And you have been able to create this community of entrepreneurs and business owners. What advice at this stage, you're sitting in this new role as president and CEO of the Atlanta Black Chambers, what's your message to entrepreneurs and business owners looking at this episode? What do you say to them? And what do you say to those who are they've been in business for many years, and to those who are just starting out? What can you say to them?
The message is that you are the ones who are making the difference and setting the best example for others to follow. Because the future is Black ownership and control of businesses, institutions, organizations.
Yes.
Black ownership and control. Because if we don't own it and control it, that means somebody else does.
Yes.
And then where does that leave us?
Where do we stand?
Where does that leave us?
Yes.
And what has been historically true, where us, our ancestors, a source of labor, always the employees.
Yes.
But that's not the future. The future is ownership and control. So to those entrepreneurs, they should understand that they are the ones who are setting the example, and be encouraged. And that's why the Chamber provides all of that support in that community.
Yes. Yes.
Because if you're an entrepreneur, you're different.
Yeah. You have a different mindset.
You're like a superhero.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
To be Black and own something significant that's making a difference, having an impact in our community, those are the superstars. Black ownership and control.
I do agree with that message. And I think that it's a timely message, right? I think that we do need to hold on to that right now, right? Because sometimes, like as I shared before, there's highs and lows of the work that we do. But I do believe that entrepreneurs and business owners, they are special individuals, right? And so that's why I said to you, what's the message? Because I do believe that we require a different type of motivational message, right? We have a different mindset. We see things differently than others do, right? We may be in a situation right now, but we can see further ahead. And others around us may not be a part of that. They may not see that vision. So I think that it is a timely message, what you've shared. Can you share with me, what's the best advice Melvin has received, and from whom?
Well, I can tell you the best advice I received, and I apologize, I can't remember the brother's name.
Right.
But, as I am now well into my 50s, I had to realize, my health is my wealth, and it's just, super important.
Absolutely.
So I'm just more conscious about things. Right. And this definitely has a direct connect to business and what I do. Because if I don't take care of myself, I'm going to have all sorts of other issues.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I look to people who are older than me, and this is one brother in particular. He looks great. He's probably 10 years older than me. And so we're at a conference, and I said, "Can you tell me one thing? If you had to share one thing with me about, what I should do if I want to really take care of myself and, really make sure that I don't have all the different ailments, whether it's high blood pressure or diabetes and all this stuff." He said, "Move your body." I was like, it's real simple. And
I know. I was thinking it was going to be something a little bit more philosophical, right?
He said, move your body. Meaning, you've got to be active. There's something you've got to do. I don't know if you like playing tennis or jogging or whatever it is, whatever your thing might be.
Yes.
But all he said was move. I knew, and when he said it, I knew what he meant.
Right.
I knew.
Yes, you can connect to that message. Really
I knew what he meant because I know about the dangers of a sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
I have some members of my family who've had strokes and different things, and they have a sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
So no, that's the best advice, and it was powerful because coming from that particular individual who, like I said, he looks great, very active, and I always look at folks, I'm like, I want to be like him when I get, like that, right?
To that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Move your body.
Now, did you kind of examine where you were with that advice, the time that you received it?
It was timely.
It was timely. Okay.
Because this would have been last year.
Right.
Okay. And so coming into this year, I've done some things because for me, it's this crazy schedule.
Absolutely. Yes. You are just on the go.
Yeah.
Constantly.
And it was not working out.
Yeah.
And I wasn't very happy. So I actually have made some changes for this, welcome to the new year.
Right.
I don't know when the folks are watching this at some point. They'll be seeing it long from now and be like, what was that?
Yes.
But I had to make some changes.
Right.
And I like the difference that I'm feeling.
Yes, because it extends now to how do you feel now that you're constantly moving? You've implemented, right, this lifestyle shift. How does it make you feel?
Oh, it feels great, both physically then mentally.
Mentally, yeah. So more energy.
Yeah, more energy, and just knowing that what you're doing is having an impact on, all those little things that you would be concerned about.
Right.
Yeah. Like, man, I didn't know I had heart disease. These things happen to you at some point, and you're like, when did that happen? Well, it's an accumulation of things.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because I think we talk a lot about business and entrepreneurship, and it's still connected to
it absolutely
care
is.
And personal wellness, right? Because there are times where the work that we do is 24/7, right? And if we don't take the time to take care of ourselves, we're not going to be around to actually do the work.
No.
So I appreciate I think that this is a timely message as well. Just focusing on care.
Yes. I think it's something that we should interject into the conversation around business and all the things that we talk about. Is this piece is vital,
right?
Because it could derail all of those things that you're working to achieve.
Yes.
So move your body.
Well, thank you for that. I was not expecting like a a message about care while we talk about business and entrepreneurship, but I love it because I think that we all need to hear these things, right? Because sometimes we forget. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the work that we do that we forget to move our bodies. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here. Before you go, I want you to, if anyone is wanting to get involved with the Atlanta Black Chambers, right? Can you share how to get in contact with you, how to reach the chamber, social media information, anything that our audience can receive from you so that they can get plugged in? Yes.
So the website is the name of the organization, Atlanta Black Chambers, that S on chambers.org. So definitely do that. But then we want you to follow us on social media. So Atlanta Black Chambers, that's Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Atlanta Black Chambers. So do that. And please come out to one of the so many activities and things that we have going on.
Yes, there's tons of ways to get connected and plugged in, right?
Yeah, in person and virtual. So you could be anywhere in the world and tap in on the virtual stuff, which is so cool when people say, I'm in Africa right now and I'm attending this session.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Well, thank you for this. Thank you so much for your time. I'm always honored to get a spot on your calendar. I appreciate you coming through and sharing your words of wisdom. Congratulations on all that you have accomplished. And I know perhaps in a month or two, there's going to be some other stuff, right, that you're going to be doing. So thank you for this. I do appreciate your time. Presidency looks good on you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Movers and Shakers. The Atlanta Black Chambers, their information is on the screen, and my information is on the screen as well. I'm your host, Giselle. Thank you so much for tuning in.